Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Tapria, and today I'll be going over the history of Paulon Records, as well as answering some questions that I've received from the community. Bear with me, I'm going to be looking this way for most of the video, because that's where my script is, but I want this to be more of a free-form sort of thing, no fancy graphics, minimal edits. I'm going to cover a lot of information, so for the time being, I'm going to summarize. But everything I mentioned will be down in the description, so you can check it out at your own time. But I've made you wait way too long already, so let's dive in. For those of you that aren't familiar with my work, I spent many years hunting and re-uploading beats that became unavailable. After that, I moved on to interviews, diagrams, now videos. I started Paulon in the beginning of 2014 as a way to share music and make connections. Originally, I wanted to sign contracts with artists and release original content. I didn't get very far with this idea, as you can tell, but I posted some of my own beats and some of my friends' beats in early 2014, at which point I gave up on Paulon completely and the account was dormant for a while. I was in high school and I continued to use SoundCloud for fun. I spent a lot of time scrolling through people's likes, reposts, and follows, trying to find new stuff to listen to. In mid-2014, I stumbled across a community of producers that completely transformed my concept and understanding of music. Even now, I don't know what to call it. I don't have a name for it. I just call it the scene or the underground. If you know, you know. I felt like I was late to the party, so I did my best to get caught up and up to speed on who's who. By the end of the year, I had made a lot of friends and listened to a lot of music. I have many good memories from that time, and while yes, music was the main thing that kept me connected, it was everything around the music that made me want to stay and contribute. Just like playing games, posting memes, hanging out in group chats, video chats, etc. I felt like I was part of something special, and it was that interpersonal dynamic that to me was the best part of the whole thing. Excuse me. Where was I? So, one of the first producers that I discovered and started listening to was Lil Netzero, now known as Spob. I didn't get a chance to listen to his discography on his actual profile because he rebranded and deleted all of his old stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, for that little bit of time, I was pretty anxious because I didn't know if I was ever gonna listen to those songs ever again. I thought they were legit gone forever. I knew that I could never find everything, but there was one song I had to find, and that was Lil Netzero featuring Misogi, Cyborg Ninja. I always loved the atmosphere of this song, and the cover art, it always stayed in my memory for some reason. Another big part of it was the obscurity and that feeling of like stumbling upon a hidden gem. So I typed that song relentlessly into any search engine I could, just trying to find it, trying to find a download. And eventually I did get a download, and I was psyched. I backed it up on a hard drive and I put it on my phone, and I put it on my iPod, and I was listening to it on my way to work, on my way to school, and it dawned on me. I started to wonder, who else is looking for this song, and how many other songs out there are like this? So I decided to re-upload Cyborg Ninja on Paulon Records so other people could enjoy it. I figured, why not? I got this failed record label account with all this upload space, so I might as well use it. So I kept finding beats that I liked, and I posted them on Paulon. And little by little, I gained plays, reposts, follows, and inboxes. I was honestly, genuinely surprised at the reaction I got from the community. I started to get requests, and that became kind of like a fun challenge. So I continued to search and post, and I maxed out the upload storage. And I didn't want to pay for the pro subscription, so I just kept making accounts, and I maxed those out. and I even had a spin-off account where I was just finding samples. I did this for many years, and it taught me a lot about the scene. For every Paulon account that I had, I oftentimes checked the inboxes and replied to as many people as I could. Same thing with Twitter, now X, Facebook, etc. Every conversation I had, it gave me a little piece of the puzzle, and chatting producers was great. I got to know some of the personalities behind these usernames, and it was awesome because no one ever had a problem with me uploading their beats. Most of the time they would either thank me or even send me stuff directly. And a few times some of the stuff on Paulon got reposted by the original artist, and the plays skyrocketed like crazy. All that combined was like a huge part of why Paulon was successful, but another part of it was due to your support and all the fans who sent me stuff and trading with other collectors. Like, seriously, thank you. Reading the comments showed me that there was a huge nostalgia factor and a shared history. I was part of a core audience. There was a product that was being enjoyed by a specific type of person and a culture surrounding it. These artists all sounded totally different, but most of the styles were compatible and marketed in similar ways. And naturally, as you spend more time in the scene, you gravitate towards people who are like-minded and you form collectives. Me and my friends would release music together and usually had the same inspirations. We would try to imitate our favorite producers. We would share tips and tricks that we learned along the way. And I truly believe that the scene produces the best music in existence. This is because a lot of the people who listen to this music are also producers themselves, which sets like a higher standard and appreciation for the craft, because we're more critical. We notice all the little things. As the years went on, I branched out to other forms of content, most notably the Underground Diagram version 2. If there ever is a version 3, it's going to be a lot different and probably have an interactive element to it, because as it stands, the diagram that I have, it's static and it doesn't lend itself easily to being upgraded or advanced per se. And shortly after I posted that, I had to deal with a serious health emergency, and all my content creation got put on the back burner. Even after all these years, I'm still honored that people remember it and ask me about it. And sometimes I even see it on the timeline, which always cheers me up. It's always good to see that type of stuff. And that brings us to today. I'm back and better than ever. This video will probably be the one and only time where I tell you anything about myself. I'm only doing this because I want to answer some questions, and I want you to understand the type of content that you can expect in the future. First and foremost, I want to set the record straight. I never want to be seen as a gatekeeper or an influencer. My only goal is to provide a high quality resource to the community that everyone can benefit from. If the scene is healthy and new music is being released, I'm happy. Everyone has to do their part, and this is the best way I know how to contribute. The whole point of archiving is so future generations can carry the torch and reach new levels. We can't stay stuck in the past. The only way this can happen is if the scene as a whole develops a culture of documenting itself, because Paulon is a side project of me, just one person, and I've done what I can, but I'm not going to be around forever. So here's a few ways that we can all contribute. Number one, buy music. Because when you speak with your wallet, this serves two purposes. Number one, you're telling that artist that you want to see more of what they're putting out. And number two, you get a legitimate file. So you get the songs in the correct syntax, you get the original high quality cover art. And sometimes they'll even have like a text file or a special little note I've seen sometimes, which is really cool. Number 2 is to keep track of yourself. If you make music, try and organize your discography into a zip file or something, or back it up on an external drive. It will come in handy one day, not only for your personal use, but for your fans. Number 3 is venture into physical media. And this can be anything. This can be a CD, a t-shirt, any type of merchandise, because once you make a physical product, it's there. No, the CD on your shelf is never going to get deleted. No one's going to kick down your door and snap your cassette tape in half. Number 4, actively discuss and ask questions and socialize with people who have a shared history, because there's so many things that happen throughout the years, and it's only going to be remembered if we either talk about it or if we post about it. But if no one says anything and we don't teach people or pass it along, it's just gonna go away, you know what I'm saying? And that leads into number 5, is to share the scene with your in real life friends. If you have maybe a buddy or a friend that you make music with, you can bring them into the scene, If they're just used to listening to the same old on the radio, and you want to show them music in a different light, this is a perfect opportunity. Not only do you get a chance to expand their knowledge of music, but the scene gets a new person, which is always good. And lastly, number 6. Is to show someone the ropes. Take someone under your wing. Let's say you have a protege, someone, maybe they might start out as a fan and they send you a message and they're not sure how to get started in the scene. You could be that person. You could be that person that shows them the right program to download, shows them the right resources, maybe even show them a few techniques or some samples to get their first couple of songs out there. Maybe give them a like, comment, or a repost. Those things go a long way, especially at the beginning. That is good because it makes people feel welcome, and I remember how it made me feel when there was someone that I listened to, someone that I looked up to in a way, and I would just send them a message or send them a link, and they would actually take the time to listen to it and not only give me feedback, even if they didn't like it, even just the fact that they would literally listen to it and type something to me, I was like, wow. And that is a big confidence booster and a big motivation for a lot of people to keep going, because sometimes that's all you need is just that one little spark that makes you go all the way. So people have asked me if I've ever wanted to do this as a job, and typically I say no because I hate feeling like I owe people. I enjoy this as a hobby, and my interaction with the community is a reward in itself. I don't want to have my livelihood dependent on this because I want to be able to share my honest opinions without pressure or compromise. To wrap this video up, I'd like to share the reason that I came back and my mission moving forward. I'm not going to give you a whole sob story, but in the beginning of Paulon, I was a very lost person, no real direction or structure, and Paulon was one of the only things that gave me confidence and happiness. And as far as I got with it, I never really filled that void. And I kind of reached a point where I was so dysfunctional and frenzied and just drained mentally and spiritually. And I had to take a step back and reevaluate everything I was doing from all aspects of my life. I'm still unpacking in a way, but one thing I can say for sure is that God saved my life and He wants me to use my talents to progress the kingdom. Because God is the one who invented music and blessed us with the sense of hearing that we can enjoy music. God doesn't need help, but He made reality in a way that we can have His attribute of being creative and that we can decorate time in a way that can be replayed over and over in a form of a song. And I always thought that was beautiful. So my real goal, if I could wrap all of my goals into one nice package, is I want to find the highest level of music. And of course, God would be involved in that. So, in regards to content creation, I have responsibilities and goals like all you guys, bills, chores, all that good stuff. So, and not only that, my own music career. So, anything you get from me is a bonus. I enjoy what I do, and I intend to do it for as long as I can. Trying to find that balance of glorifying God and putting out content. I know that I will make mistakes, not perfect, I never will be, but I hope that you would join me on that journey, and I thank you for watching all the way to the end.